Oh me tutu, oh not tutu, tutu la woye.
What's up, y'all? Good morning. Good morning, Ifa. First and foremost, good morning to Maori and good morning to everybody else out there in Ifa land. I am Makanjuola. This is Good Morning, Ifa. Thanks for tuning in. As promised, here's the music. Enjoy it. We'll come back in a few minutes and say prayers and get started, okay? Give us a few minutes. We'll come on back in at about 9:55 and we'll be getting started with some prayers. Then we'll go right into the message for today. Share this video. Share it, share it, share it. It's going to be interesting.
Blood of your blood, bones of your bones, flesh of your flesh. I call upon you to come forward to hear my prayers and requests.
What's up, Yakim?
Bless.
Good morning to you, my man.
Be at peace and good character. Nat Turner, Malcolm X.
To my ancestors that did life on plantations, we pouring libations. To my ancestors that did life on plantations, we pouring libations. The lobby and everybody.
Yeah.
To the poor souls we lost in that middle passage, those who fought back, we mourn through closed caskets, those whose offspring was ripped from their arms, sold off like they was cattle on a farm, field niggas slaving sun up to can't see, escaped and got shown the meaning I can't breathe, queens who fell victim to masses passes, resisted, hand nursed gashes from rashes, those who sip water from designated fountains, pick cotton for crumbs, raise fams in the slums, from trees they hung, like Christmas on it, Mr. Redneck, sip beers, cut off beers for souvenirs, still blast hoping you hear my cries, and goon goon mojupe for your sacrifice, stare death every day between screws, and stood firm until they revised the rules, to my grandmother, Samantha Turner, though we never met, your grandson still mourns your Modupe for giving birth to Annie Lee, who inevitably gave.
Remember, share the video, y'all. I'm about to get started.
Was only 48 when God called you home. Left my heart in pieces. Yeah, I'm still breathing. I hear your spirit speaking louder than ever. With this song, I'm lifting you and the rest of my ancestors. So to my goon glass salute you. Without further ado, I present to you.
Welcome, everybody. everybody to Good Morning Ifa. I am Jasir Makanjuola, and this is Good Morning Ifa. Thank you guys for tuning in. As usual, we will get started with some prayers here. For those, if this is your first time tuning in, you know what to do. For those who already came in, please go ahead and share the video with as many as people as you can. This is going to be a very in-depth conversation. And with that being said, we're going to get into a quick prayer real quick, just to open the space so that we can have some support in this conversation, because I know we're going to need it. So, eyes closed. Greetings. Good morning, Ifa. Good morning, Oludumare. Good morning to all to Maori. Good morning to Irumale and Orishas, ancestors, everybody out there. Everybody out there who wants to see this message successful. Everybody out there who wants to, every spirit out there who wants to see this message be received. Come into this space at this moment. Open people's minds, open people's hearts, and bring understanding and truth to the table. May I speak with only truth, not my perspective, not any tainted points of view, but only the perspective of Ifa, so that people can receive the message. I pray that this message touches someone. I pray that this message answers questions for someone. I pray that this message sets someone free in their thoughts and their mind and how they view the world, and specifically how they view the title of this sermon. I give thanks to Ifa for delivering me to bring this message. Trust me, it's been a long week. It's been a long 2 weeks. But I'm still here, ready to deliver this message. And I pray that it's received. I pray it's welcomed. I pray it is heard. I pray humbly and give thanks for everybody that tunes in and watches it today and in the future. They give thanks and praise, Ifa. I shizzle, and I shizzle. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning. As we say, good morning, Ifa. I am Jasir Makanjuola, and this is Good Morning Ifa. And I want to welcome everybody to Good Morning Ifa, because Good Morning Ifa is a place where the experiences of an African in America can be expressed through the eyes of an African in America. Every second and fourth Sunday. Now I know I'm off this week because last week I had some stuff. I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it last week. But this week I pushed myself to get it out. Even though it was a hard week, like I said, I'm still here as I promised myself I would. But usually on every second and fourth Sunday, we get it in. Again, I am Makanjuola, a capo of Ifa. I am being trained still as an awo and a capo. I am still being trained by my Alu-Nla, who is Baba. I call him Baba Amos, but his name is Baba Iraro. And he was trained by Chief Popola of Nigeria. All right? So that's the background to my understanding of Ifa and trainings. Remember, I am not professing to be a scholar at this. I am not professing to have all these things down packed personally myself. But I am saying that I'm open to understanding. I am open to gaining more knowledge. And the things that I share are the things that I have come to understand within my small window of understanding with Ifa. Through the lenses of an African in America, though, because the African in America has a unique experience. And with Ifa, it's even more unique. So, again, I welcome everybody. Just a few announcements before we get going. A lot of people have been asking me about this music that I play in the beginning and the end. Again, you can always go to indigenousrhythms.com. That's indigenousrhythms.com and get the music if you need it. If you want it, you want to support all that good stuff, we have t-shirts and stuff there too. If you want, you can order, but you can always go there. And also be on the lookout, you guys, for our CA Ticketmasters Raw workshop coming up real soon in the summer. We're going to be hosting a workshop for young men and women, girls, little boys, and young men and young women, I'll say, this summer, to teach them their rights about these laws and stuff and how to protect themselves at a traffic stop. So just keep in mind all those good things, okay? Now, this topic This topic. What is the topic? Let's get into it. Let's dive right into it. The topic is Ifa homophobic? And I want to give a backdrop before I get into this real quick. Why did I title Is Ifa homophobic? Because anytime someone has something to say about homophobia, homosexual activities, or homosexuality, if it's in opposition, they're labeled homophobic. If they support it, they're greeted with open arms. So, with that being said, I think you can kind of get the gist of where I'm going with this sermon. And this topic is very near and dear to my heart, and I will share why at the end of this sermon. So please, you got to stick around to the end to get some of the meat and potatoes. I'm not trying to dangle a carrot, but I'm just letting you know what it is. All right, so but before we get into it, I want y'all to meet two people. This one here is Caleb. This one here is Jacob. I'm bringing them in because I want the kids to understand that early on that the things that we as adults normalize may not always be the correct things. So I want them to get this early on in life, at least plant that seed. They may not understand it right now, but as they grow up, they'll remember these teachings and understand these things a little better. So with that being said, everybody been introduced, let's jump into the situation. So the title was, Is Ifa homophobic? So I'm going to give a description of what Ifa is. First, for those who may not be familiar with Ifa, I got to give this backdrop. So those who are familiar with it, just kind of close your ears for a second. I know this is going to sound like a broke record, but at the end of the day, everybody doesn't know what Ifa is. So Ifa is an ancient spiritual practice from the Yorubas in West Africa, particularly Nigeria at this time. And Ifa is a governing system governed by Olodumare. Olodumare is the head. Our Ori, our heads, our own personal download computers. Orumila, Irumile, Orishas, and ancestors. All of these bodies govern the system of Ifa to help us understand it within our lifetime. To get our destinies, to walk out our destinies in our lifetime before we go back home. Earth is the market. Heaven is where we live. We're just here visiting, having an experience. Okay? So that's Ifa. All right, now, I also said, is Ifa homophobic? So what is homophobic? I just got to lay this groundwork for a second before we jump into the raw title or the subject matter of this. So what is homophobic? Homophobic is showing dislike or prejudice against homosexuals. Dislike or prejudice. Dislike or prejudice. As a black person in America, if you're black in America, if you're black watching this video, I don't have to explain to you what dislike or prejudice looks like. So that's what homophobia is. Now, what is homosexual, to be specific, because it says against homosexuals. To be homosexual, homosexuals must be attracted to someone of the same sex. Meaning, if I'm a male, I'm attracted to another male. If I'm a female, I'm attracted to a female sexually. All right? Now, who are the potential homophobes? Like I said, those who speak out against homosexual, those who show prejudice against homosexuals. Now, we said is Ifa homophobic, but there are other people who has spoken about this particular subject. Number one is America has spoken up against homosexuals for years. Actually, until 1973, homosexuals were considered to have a mental disorder. It was classified as a mental disorder in America, which is deep. But now, with the Obama administration, even Obama in the beginning of his campaign was not with gay marriages. Towards the end, he opened it up. He changed his narrative. I wonder why. Okay. But until 1973, which is my birth year, until 1973, homosexuality was a disorder in America. So that's the first homophobe. Secondly, another homophobe, and I'm mentioning these things because these are the things that directly affect us in America. In America, okay? Not necessarily dealing with other countries because most other countries have it right, okay? And I'll get to that later on. But secondly, another person, another entity that can be considered homophobic is guess who? Who, y'all? Anyway, the church. The church has been homophobic for years. Now, it's oxymoronic being that the church, I'm talking about the Christian church, the Catholic church, it's ironic because these entities and these organizations have always been homosexual. Matter of fact, Christmas is actually a homosexual holiday. It began as something called Saturnalia, where the rich in the environment of Rome and throughout Europe would have this thing called Saturnalia. And their whole ritual was they would be married, all kinds of stuff, but they were the people who had the money in the community. And every year, they would, around Christmas time, they would go out and they would take their slaves' children, little boys primarily, and rape them. That was their ritual. And they created Christmas around that day. So, it's kind of ironic that the Bible speaks against it. Now, just to give you a little proof, I'm going to show you where it speaks against it. Corinthians 6, chapter 6, verse 9. It says, "Or do you not know the wrongdoers will not inherit the kingdom of God? Neither the sexually immoral, nor idolaters, nor adulterers, nor men who have sex with men." That's the Bible. I'll give you one more. Romans 1, verse 27. "In the same way, men also adorned natural relations with women." Huh? Oh, I'm sorry. "In the same way, the men also abandoned natural relations with women and were inflamed." Listen to the word they used. "Inflamed with lust for another man, committed shameful acts with other men, and received in themselves the due penalty for their errors." They said inflamed, right? Inflamed, which means like if you're sick, inflammation is an infection. Which means it's a sickness. They were inflamed with the desire to be with other men. Now, why do all these institutions now accept it? Why is America for it? Why is the church for it? You see it throughout America, everywhere, where it's totally accepted. It's totally almost criminal to even speak against it. What made it change? How did we come to that point in this society? Again, this African in America society, this African in America experience. So there's a few different things that's on the table, but I'm gonna ask Caleb real quick to just give a quick, please, just give me that quick scenario you told me about, because I'm gonna introduce that in a second. But give me that quick scenario you told me about where you said your teacher said something about.
Oh yeah, my teacher, we were in
Speak
class.
up, though.
We were in class, an anatomy class, and we had a substitute teacher, and she was talking about how the percentage of people that were gay were rising like annually, and she was saying how it was good because it limits the population.
I hope y'all heard that, because he's speaking kind of nervously and low. But what he was trying to say is that his teacher, substitute teacher, right?
Yeah.
A substitute teacher, Caucasian lady, says that the gayness is good because it depopulates the planet. Meaning, if you're not having sex with the opposite sex, you can't procreate. Right? Now, I just asked, why do all of these institutions now accept it? That's why, to me. There's been so much propaganda and so much actual facts shared on this subject matter of depopulation of planet Earth. They want the Earth to be depopulated. They feel like there's too many people on planet Earth. So they're taking measures to depopulate the Earth. What's the best way to stop kids from being born, period? How do you get them to stop from being born, period? You make the people who make them do natural things, because natural things is a man and a woman that creates a baby. You got to turn their minds around to believe that the natural act is wrong, but this is okay. And that's happening today. If you speak against homosexuality, you're automatically castrated. They have made people believe that that is wrong to speak on. But if you stand up as a heterosexual, you're the bad person now. That's the first reason, the number one reason why homosexuality is in place. Now that I got all these things off the table, I forgot one. Let me go back to one more definition. Natural, because I said that already. I want to make sure that we all are in agreement with what natural means and all these words and terminologies means before I go into any of the verses from Ifa. All right, so what does natural mean? What does natural mean? Now, we all have our versions of all kind of definitions, right? But let's just make this one be the one for the sake of argument, okay? Natural, existing in or caused by nature, not made or caused by humankind. The sun rises in the east and it sets in the west. Man cannot alter that. Naturally, it happens. Seasons happen. Winter, spring, fall, summer. Man doesn't make that. Trees blossom. Man can't make that. He can try to, genetically modify the organisms, but he will never get it to where it's consumable and it's natural for us to digest. Not going to happen. Things that happen on its own without any influence by man is nature. I hope that makes sense to everybody. Anything that happens without man's influence, a GMO is not natural. It says genetically modified, meaning somebody made this. It's Frankenstein-ish. God naturally made man. God naturally made women. God naturally made both species of human beings with two different body parts. And those two different body parts are naturally made to reproduce themselves. If they weren't naturally made to reproduce themselves, there wouldn't be over 6 billion people on the planet Earth. Make sense? That makes sense?
Yes.
So, now, let's get into what Ifa has to say, because that's why we're here, right? We're here because of what Ifa has to say. I have to give you guys these backdrops. I don't want you to think that Ifa was a lone wolf in this topic. I want you guys to truly understand where we're coming from with this. So please bear with me. And remember, share this video. Let somebody know it is going down right now. All right? Now, what does Ifa have to say with it? I'm going to speak. We're going to have some time, so be patient with this, y'all, okay? Be patient. We have 4 Odus to go through. I'm going to give you some meat. And there's more I could give you, but I'm just going to give you 4 just for the sake of conversation, all right? The first one I want to give you is Ofun on the right, Irete on the left. Ofun Irete. Ofun Irete. Got it? Good. All right. What does Ofun Irete say? I'm going to say this out loud. I'm going to read the actual verse verbatim. All right. Palm oil complements yam for consumption. Yam complements palm oil when eating. Ladders are good for climbing up rafters. A woman is better for a man to have sex with than his fellow man. A man is better for a woman to have sex with than her fellow woman. If a man sleeps with a man, it will result in lumps, boils, yaws, which is very nasty, by the way. If a woman sleeps with a woman, it results in murk. Now, what is murk? What is murk?
I don't know.
You ever heard of murky water?
Oh, like dirt water.
Dirty water, murky, meaning it's cloudy. You can't see through it. You can't see it. You're clouded. Your judgment's clouded. You can't see what truth is. Okay? So sleeping with a woman sleeping with a woman will result in murk, meaning that they'll be just dysfunctional and can't see the dysfunction. Like they can be dressed like a man and they're a woman and think that that's okay. And if you call them out, their vision is so murky, they can't understand that that's a dysfunction. It's a disorder, right? Now, where was I at?
These girls like that at my old school. It's like
Dressed like that?
more than 5 dykes at my school.
And what grade are you in?
7.
Now, he's in the 7th grade, and he's talking about there's girls at his school that dress like butch dykes in the 7th grade. In the 7th grade.
And they date like 10th graders that are women too.
And they're dating girls that are older than them. This is like a dysfunction. Murk, okay? Murk. Listen to the words. Now, again, this is not me. This is what Ifa is saying. Okay, if a woman sleeps with a woman, it will result in murk, stinking odor, dirt, and irritation. If a man sleeps with a woman sleeps with a man, the result will be like feeling on top of the world. I know I felt that way many a day. Y'all shut up. I know I felt that way many a day. The feeling will be like having unlimited and unqualified enjoyment, meaning that you don't even think you deserve this. Like, this is so awesome, right? You ever had something like, why do I get this? Like, how do I keep it? Anyway, let me get back to the Odus. All right, let me start from that first line, that last line. The feeling will be like having unlimited and unqualified enjoyment. Ofun rete's organ is strong and turgid. This is what Ifa cast for the chronic bachelor. When he was asked Olele to be his wife, but she did not respond. The problem is not more than what Ifa can resolve. Now, what does this mean? I'm going to give you the synopsis that they give for what this Odus means. Because again, I don't want it to come from me. I want it to sound like it's my interpretation of it. All right? The following Odus speaks on various issues. In this Odus, Ifa says it's more enjoyable to sleep with the opposite sex than it is with the same sex. This Odus states that men and women complement one another. This Odus also states that and says that engaging in the same sex love and sex, or oral sex even, leads to disease, sickness, frustrations, so forth and so on. Ashe, ashe, ashe. Now let's keep it real. AIDS, they say AIDS began where? In the homosexual community. In the 80s, AIDS became the big thing. And they blamed it. First of all, somebody sleeping with a monkey is how somebody supposedly got it. Stupid, right? Now, even that makes sense. But now, then they started blaming gay people for having it. If you were gay, the AIDS population was high in the gay community. And now it's high in the heterosexual community because people are practicing homosexuality on the DL, but taking it back to heterosexual relationships. So now they're spreading it, right? But if I just told you that sleeping with the same sex will bring diseases. Now, Ifa's wisdom is way more, I'll say it's older than anything that I just named, biblically, especially America. Ifa is thousands of years old. This is wisdom encapsulated thousands of years old, well before any kind of Christian doctrines. So this information is still existing. We see it happening in our community every day. We see it happening all over the world every day. They call it STDs, right? Now, do you get STDs from heterosexual activity? Yeah, but a lot of people are practicing. I don't want to say it because the kids are here, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Anything that's not natural. Remember, the word natural. The genital organs that go together, go together. The ones that don't go together, it don't go together with like genders or even opposite genders. They go in a specific space, and y'all know what I mean. I got kids here, so I don't want to be like too out there. But I think y'all know what I mean. So, that's one Odu. Okay? I'm going to go to the next Odu, which is Iwodi Wodin, which is Iwodi Idi. Iwodi on the right, Idi on the left. Okay? This is another Odu. I told you we have 4, so please be patient. Now, what does it say? Iwodi took a fanciful look at the genitals and considered it proper practice. Do you consider Iwodi who looks at the genitals as a good awo? This was what Ifa declared to Panla Apo, who failed to secure a husband to marry and chose to be with her fellow woman. She was advised to offer a bow. To all women who choose to have sex with their fellow woman, don't you know that you are looking at non-productive, lifeless genitals? Okay, now what does Ifa say in this situation? Meaning, being, from Ifa perspective, anyone looking sexually at genitals of another person should not be regarded as a good awo. For a person to look sexually at the genitals of someone of the same sex is regarded as even worse. So what they're saying is that you shouldn't be looking at anyone's genitals but your own and your wife's. But if you're looking at someone else's and you're doing it in a homosexual nature, even worse, right? Ifa also says that engaging in the same sex lovemaking is pointless because it will never result in something productive, meaning you will never bear fruit in a homosexual situation, which goes back and speaks back to the depopulation idea. Now, to be ignorant to the fact that we know that America and England and all of the European powers that have raped Africa to death, they know all about Ifa, our spiritual practices. They know all about it. That's why they took it from us during this slavery situation. They know all about it. They know its powers. They know what it says. That's why they have to fight so hard against it. So that you don't return back to it. Because if you return back to it, you will correct yourself. They don't want you to do that. All right. The next one I'm going to do for you guys today is Ogbe Ofun. Ogbe Ofun. What does that mean? Ogbe on the right, Ofun on the left. Now these words I keep saying right and left of, these are the Odus. We'll get into that at another section in this Good Morning Ifa. But Ofun Ogbe. What does it say? As white as snow, as sparkling as the morning dew. That which sparkles like white cloth, these were the declarations of Ifa to Obatala, the one who shall love another person's wife and make her pregnant, the one who shall love another person's wife and make her produce and deliver a baby safely. He was advised to offer a bow, he complied. Oba Lufun, help me love my wife so she may become pregnant. Osa Igba, help me love my wife so she may produce a baby. What does Ifa say about this? Let's do it again. Ifa says, whenever two people of the opposite sex are engaged in lovemaking, there is a third unseen spirit who sanctions and blessed the act. When we engage in sexual taboos, we exclude this unseen force and do not receive Obatala's blessings. Do not receive Obatala's blessings. That is deep to me right there, and I'll say why in a minute. Think of the different white substances. This is a subnote Think of the different white substances released by men and women when they have sex. That's what Batala is what they're saying. So, again, we exclude unseen forces that's supposed to sanction a lovemaking act when we have sex. Not we. When those have sex who have sex with the same sex, those forces can't bless that. If they don't have the gods and the spirits blessings, that's why these other things are able to creep in. We just talked about it making diseases, right? So how could it be blessed by the spiritual forces and still get diseases? If God takes his hands off of it, anything is going to get to it. Does that make sense to you guys? Again, this is not me, man. This is just what the Odus says. Don't shoot the messenger. Take it to the mat and holler at Ifa. All right, the last one I want to do for the day is called, again, I said this one before, but this one had 2 actual stanzas for the same subject. So, Iwadi Wadin, which is Iwadi on the right, Ed on the left, okay? In this particular stanza of Iwadi Wadin, Ifa says, if this was the way we had administered our community, the community would have been desirous to live in. What does that mean? That means that if God planned it this way, it wouldn't have the chaos in it that it has. It'd have been natural. It wouldn't be so many pushbacks, dysfunctions, diseases, right? You wouldn't have to fight so hard to have gay rights.
If it was natural,
right?
no one would be here.
If it was natural, I'm just saying. This was the declaration of Ifa to the citizens of Iwadi Wadi. They were advised to offer a bow. No, they were advised by Ifa to send all Omo Oshu away. Those who had often getting married once chose to perform ejaculation with a fellow woman. They were advised to offer sacrifice. If this was the way we had administered the community, would the community have been desirous to live in? All right, meaning of this is that Ifa is saying, in this Odu, Ifa discusses the issues of Omo Oshu, Ilemosu, which means a woman who had once been married, but due to extreme difficulties with her husband, something happened with her husband, they broke up, but because of what has happened with that relationship, she has now turned gay, which is a lot of people's story, right? Majority of homosexuals always say that they were molested or somebody of the opposite sex did something to them, so now they're gay. How is Ifa speaking to something now? This is ancient information that is happening in 2019. Okay. She returned back to her parents' home. She vowed, because of her experiences in her first marriage, to never have anything to do with men ever again. She then decided to be with women instead. This Odu talks about people who were once heterosexual, but because of hardships, frustrations, abuse, anger, sadness, and pain experienced with the opposite sex, they turned homosexual or even bisexual. This Odu warns people not to engage in sexual acts with the same sex and advises them to seek guidance, counseling, mentorship, and healing in order to resolve all the painful issues they may have with the opposite sex that is affecting them negatively. In other words, if you've had these pains in your life, you've had these experiences with the opposite sex, and I know I've had my share, but there's nothing on planet Earth that a woman can do to me. There is nothing on planet Earth that a woman can do to me that can make me say,
I want that.
I want that over there. I don't want that to look like you, baby. You are beautiful, awesome, but that looks better. I think I'm going that direction because you talk too much head. You cussing me out every 5 minutes. You don't support me. Whatever my issue is with you, I'm going over here with this. Like this is going to be any different in the first place. But Ifa is telling you that people, and is speaking to the people who always say this. For instance, I'm not going to name any names. I have a sister who is homosexual, and that is her reasoning for being homosexual, because she had some experiences as a youngster with men. She just started, and I noticed earlier on in our life that she really didn't like men the way she treated them. And she treated them like crap. I couldn't understand why, but I found out later, and later on she became gay, and she's been gay ever after. But at the end of the day, Ifa is speaking to that story too. Ifa's message in this situation is letting me know why she went that way. But as Ifa just said, you have to seek healing, counseling. You only seek healing and counseling if what? Something's wrong. No one goes to a counselor or seeks healing if everything is all good. Right? Mm-hmm. You don't go seek financial advice if you got 20 billion. Do you? You only seek financial advice as if you were at bankruptcy court. Right? You obviously need it. So, Ifa is speaking to every aspect that is being experienced in our world today, and particularly America, and the Africans' experience in America. Now, let me ask you this. What would make us as an African people in the diaspora, here in America, spread abroad, and even back on the continent, what would make us accept this and normalize this behavior? Why would we accept this? What would make us do this? What do y'all think? I want to get the kids involved a little bit, so what do y'all think? What would make us accept this?
Accept the gayness?
Mm-hmm. Speak up so they can hear you.
Well, probably around my age, probably like the peer pressure. I think that's another thing. Like being at school around so many gay kids and not accepting it, you kind of look like the outcast.
Mm. So basically, you get punked into it.
Yeah, basically.
What about you?
I guess they saying that they're getting molested, or they see that it's other gay people that's doing it around them, so they say that they probably want to do it.
So peer pressure.
Yeah.
And also, I think the TVs, like the movies and shows, like it's always that one gay dude, you know, like that.
Every show, right?
Like, and it makes you feel like, oh, that's normal. Okay.
Because at my school, the girl was like, it was when one girl came to the school and she was gay, they started being close friends, and then they start like they dated both of them dated girls that were 10th grade.
This is disturbing. These kids are in the 7th grade, man. Like, you know, I've never seen a gay person in the 7th grade. Like, when I was in school, there was no gay people in the 7th grade. If there was, they was in the closet, deep, buried under the shoes, the rug, everything. They were not coming out in the 7th grade when we were young. It wasn't accepted. This is amazing. But they gave some pretty good points. Peer pressure and just getting purely punked into it, right? On top of the over-marketing of it all, right? It's being marketed to us. Now, here's something that I want to add to this power what the kids just said. We accepted it. It's even in the Bible. The Bible is an amazing book to me. It's a very amazing book to me. It has a whole lot of controversial concepts. It has a whole lot of hypocrisy in it, but it tells the truth if you read it, right? If you read it. It's just like today they make so many movies and they put their truth right up under your nose, but they put it in front of you and disguise it so that you won't see it. Now, why would we accept this behavior? Deuteronomy 29:26 says this. Deuteronomy 29:26 says this. They went and served other gods and worshiped them, God who they have not known and whom had not allotted to them, meaning that they were not, God did not, you were not supposed to worship them. This was not assigned to you. I'm going to give you the definition of a lot so we can understand what this thing is saying clearly. A lot means to give, give or a portion, meaning like, sugar. I give you a portion, you this, a portion of that, right? Give or a portion to someone as to share or task. Synonyms of a lot: assign, issue, award, grant. It was not granted to you. These guys that you went out and worshiped, Jesus, Allah, Buddha, or whoever else, these were not things that were allotted to you. You went out and worshiped them. Now that you worship them, you're functioning in dysfunction. Why am I saying that? Do y'all get why I'm saying that? If not, let me explain it. You went out and worshiped these things that were not allotted to you, that were not for you. Jesus, all these things. I said earlier that if you move away from natural things, inflamed situations will come. Disorder, dysfunction will come. We have come into these things of mindsets of colonialisms, and we have normalized them because we have moved away from our ancient teachings, such as Ifa, such as ancient Kemet sciences, such as any other indigenous culture, spiritualities across the diaspora. We have moved away from the things that we once knew, and we have taken on and adapted to things that were not allotted to us, but they were forcefully given to us. And you got to think a man like John Hawkins, a person who purchased a big ship over 700 tons that will store 400 people in the belly of his ship, and get the Queen Isabella okay to take this ship that he just purchased and go down to Africa, put 400 Africans in there, drive it over to the Americas, drop all these slaves off, come back to England with a fortune. This was the first man who brought Christianity, who sold you Christianity, and told you that if you didn't get in this boat and accept this and pray to this Jesus to save you, we gonna cut your head off. You went and served other gods. They didn't say forcefully, though. They didn't say how, but you did go serve them. And you still serve them to this day without John Hawkins. You serve him willingly. So now that you're serving these things that are not for you, the same people you're serving are now pushing this agenda. And you're accepting it. I call this situation PTHD because churches are more abundant in the hood. When you go to more affluent areas, you don't see that many churches. You don't see that many liquor stores. You don't see that many Planned Parenthood offices. You only see them in the hood. And when you're growing up in the hood, you're growing up in dysfunction. So I've come up with this acronym. I've said it many a times. PTHD. Post-Traumatic Hood Disorder. And that is a product of the ghettos that have been created and is still being perpetuated by others and ourselves, that we accept the dysfunction and live with it like it's okay. Why? Back to Deuteronomy 29:26. Now, I know some people are like, why is he including Bible scriptures in E5 messages? I know I'm gonna get that question. Why is he including Bible scriptures in E5 messages? I have 2 points for that, just to answer that ahead of time. Number one, I'm about to go in. Number one reason is that all these Eleke, Ide wearing, Orishas worshiping, who are still functioning with a colonial mindset that accept homosexuality, even though they claim Ifa. I wanted you guys to see that you're still functioning with the colonial mindset from the Bible. That's what I wanted to point out first. There's a whole lot of people who hit me throughout this week once I posted that picture that was going hard at me, right? Going hard at me. I'm talking about E5 people from both sides, in opposition and for and pro-gay. My question as I was going through this, they wanted me to answer what I was going to say today. I'm going to say it right now. I do understand how you can be in Ifa and still say homosexuality is cool. It's okay. Stop talking about them. Leave them alone. You homophobic. How you call me homophobic and you're an Ifa person? That means you don't know what you're talking about in Ifa. Number one, you have not studied it and paid attention. You're too busy rocking Ilekes and Idays and screaming Ashe, all this stuff, but you're not really into the actual meat of the information. I'll get off of that one. Number two, I wanted the non-Ifa followers to hear more of a balanced message. Now, I'm not trying to be like Farrakhan or the Nation of Islam, where I teach from the Quran and the Bible and use it to parallel itself, because I'm not trying to parallel it. But what I am trying to say is that what I am trying to say is that Ifa's wisdom outdates Christianity, and the fact that Christianity's script, I'll call it, called the Bible, speaks against it also, has to let you know it's just not Ifa. So I don't want you throwing darts at Ifa saying Ifa is homophobic. That's why I titled it that. I don't want you throwing darts at Ifa saying it's homophobic because it speaks against homosexuality. Your Bible does too. I don't care what T.D. Jakes said. I don't care what Noel Jones says. I don't care what any of these prosperity preachers say. The Bible speaks against it. Why are they accepting it? And more importantly, why are Babalaos allowing people that are gay to be initiated? We're going to talk about that too. Told y'all we're going to go in today. It's about to get real deep. I want to ask this question, and my friend gave me this question this morning as we were talking about what I was going to talk about today. He said, man, what do we do with the homosexuals? We can't get rid of them. We can't throw them away and cast them away. That's not godly, right? So basically, do we throw the baby out with the bathwater? Well, Ifa will help and support anyone who wants the wisdom of Ifa. I don't care if you're sick, you're straight, you're gay, you're a gangster, you're a thug, you're divorced, you're married, you're Christian, you're Muslim, you're black, you're white, and everybody else in between that spectrum. Ifa will assist you and aid you. Even the Black Lives Matter girl is gay, right? But she's an Ifa initiate, and that's a whole nother topic of discussion. But I'm going to speak to people like that. But Ifa, this is the part where people are going to be upset with me right now, especially Ifa initiates. Ifa will not knowingly initiate homosexual people. You cannot get on the mat and tell a person who's about to initiate you, Babala or whatever, about to initiate you, that, hey, look, I'm gay, but I'm ready to be initiated.
Not traditional.
Not traditional Ifa. Traditional Ifa is not with that. My friend was telling me he was talking to Chief one day when he was in Africa, and there was a guy that was there over there to get initiated. I believe he was coming to get initiated. And he said that the guy was talking to Chief, right? And the guy was gay. So the guy was like asking Chief, he was like, Chief, like, where are the gay people at? Because I don't see anybody gay. And Chief was like, what do you mean? What is that? Like, he didn't even know what it was, right? And he was like, what do you mean? What is that? He was like, well, I'm a man who sleeps with men. Where are people like me at? He was like, we don't do that here. There's no gay people here. Traditional Ifa will never accept that. Now, does that mean you can't come to a temple of Ifa? You can't sit on the mat and get help if you need help? That doesn't mean that. Ifa is there to help you find your way. Find your way. Find your way. And when you find your way, you're not going to want to be gay. Does that mean if you found your way, you're in the process or you have been healed? Does that make sense, y'all? Mm-hmm. If you're healing yourself, you're not going to want to be a gangster. All the things I just named up here, all these sicknesses, you're not going to want to chase things that you know are false. You're not going to want to do things that are dysfunctional. Right? Ifa is about order. Order and more order. Yeah, I know what happens in traditional Ifa, but not necessarily from a standpoint of Ifa knows and you're gay. If most people don't ask you, nobody asks you when you get initiated, are you gay before I do this? Nobody asks you that. They don't ask you that. They just initiate you. Now I'm going to get into the why in a second, though. All right, so now moving on from that topic. But like everyone else, everyone else seeking Ifa's wisdom, Ifa will help heal anybody. It doesn't matter. It's people that come to church, that go to church, that come and get readings from Ifa Babalaos. Now, there are all walks of life. The only one that Ifa excludes, though, from initiation is gay people. Why? Because it doesn't produce anything. You cannot produce anything from it. Now, when we talk about nature, people always say, well, there are animals who do that. They're natural, right? There's animals who do that. Okay, first and foremost, I'm not an animal. My brain tells me something that's different. I'm not finna walk up to a cow and just bite the hell out of its side and start eating it alive. My brain tells me that that's nasty. I'm gonna kill it. I'm gonna slice it. I'm gonna season it. I'm gonna cook it. And I'm gonna make it taste better. But I'm not finna eat it raw. Okay? Number one, I'm not made that way. That ain't my job on this planet. So, naturally, we talked about this earlier, naturally, Ifa sees things that are natural as the way of life. And if it doesn't produce anything, it is in a disorder, and it is coming out of disorder, and it is coming again from Deuteronomy 29:26. If you haven't read it, go read it. Yeah, I'm sure you're right, but I'm not going to get into the debate with you. Again, I want to see somebody. Never mind. I'm not going to get into that debate right now. Now, I'm coming to the conclusion here, y'all. Why do Babalaos initiate gay people? Now, I'm speaking specifically in America right now. Why do Babalaos initiate gay people? Number one, they don't know they're gay. But for the ones who know they're gay, because first and foremost, if you talk to somebody, you've interacted with them, you're going to see they're gay. There's no way you can say you don't, unless it's one of those dudes down in Atlanta, you know what I mean? That look like he just got off the football field, walk around in the suit looking like he a regular dude, but going home to another dude. Unless it's like that, if you talk to a normal, that's gay person, I don't want to say normal gay person, that just sounds oxymoron. But if you talk to a regular gay person, you're going to know if they're gay or not. You're going to be able to look at that, especially a woman. You're going to know if they're gay, especially both of them. They don't have too many S's on the end of the words. If it's a man, their gestures are going to be a little bit too loose. Women are going to just have too much masculinity. The way they talk to you is going to be different. It's going to be a whole lot of things you can just see that they're gay, that you're choosing to ignore. Why would you ignore it? Number one reason to me, money. Money. And it's a lot of Babalaos just seeking money at this time and ready to initiate anybody because of the money. Money. And I'm not just talking about in America, especially in Africa. Do you know how many people hit me in my DM trying to hit me up for readings? That's African Babalaos. They try to just friend request you, and then they want to ask you all these questions like they're your friend. Well, how are you? What's going on today? Where are you from? And then it leads to, well, I'm a Babalao in Africa. I do readings. Do you need help? They just trying to massage you to get something out of you. So when they get people over there, they want your money. They're not worried about if you're gay. Number one, it's probably not even a thing to them because it's not a part of their society. It's the African American society. But in the Babalaos in America, they are money hungry because they know that the people that they are helping or supposed to be helping or initiating are not educated in Ifa, and they can get over on them. I know a couple of Babalaos like that personally. I won't say any names, Fayemi. I won't say any names, but I know a couple of them that will just initiate anybody who gets on the mat. And number two is lack of education in the subject matter. Now, I'm concluding at this point. It's time to wrap it up. In my humblest opinion, I'm not for it. It is not my thing. I'm not here to judge anybody. I'm not anybody's maker. That's not my job. I'm not for it. But what I am for is what's right and what's natural and what's going to bring order. We are suffering in America from so many things, but numbers is the number one thing in America that we suffer from. Everywhere I have looked, except for some of these areas in northern America, Wyoming, Idaho, all these places where nobody wants to go, that are predominantly all white. But let's take California, for instance. African Americans, 9%, between 8 to 9% of the population. Hispanics, about 40% of the population. Caucasians, about 25 to 30% of the population. Everything else is just Asian and whatever else is here. We are 8 to 9%. We can't afford to be gay. We can't afford to be homosexual. We can't afford not to reproduce. These people are outnumbering us. Hispanic people are winning in especially California because they are producing. They are producing.
It's a gang of Hispanic and Mexican.
We are the only people, I think, in the world that if your girlfriend gets pregnant, it's a bad thing. You just think like you got told you got cancer or some shit, right? Like, if your girlfriend gets pregnant as a black man in America, you looking like, oh, first thing you thinking, damn, child support. You thinking all the negative things. It's supposed to be a blessed thing. In traditional Ifa, that one of the arrays that we pray for, all the arrays we pray for in Ifa, the 5 staple ones are long life, wealth, a spouse, good children, and victory. Spouse and children, I want to highlight. You have a spouse so that you can have children. You can't have a spouse and then have good children if you're gay. You're going to have to skip over one. If we think that homosexuality is normal, please, someone do me a favor. And even the lady who just said that people are getting initiated as gay in Africa, please name me one. Since everybody loves the Orishas and the Olekes, name me one Irumele or name me one Orisha that's gay. And I'm wait. Name me one that's gay. Now everybody likes to mention Olokun, right? Olokun's not gay because there's more than one Olokun. There's a feminine and a masculine Okun. He's not a hermaphrodite. None of that. Okay? It's different Olokuns. It's not just one. So let's just get that off the table. Now, other than that, there's 801 Orishas in Arumale. There's 401 that govern planet Earth. There's only one female out of that 401, and her name is Oshun. Now, with all of those masculine energies, you still don't have a gay Orisha. In heaven, Olodumare sits, and he has 200 Arumale Orisha on one side, 200 on this side. On earth, he left 401, including one female, and you still can't name one gay Orisha. Now let's put 401 men in a jail cell, and let's see how long it takes for somebody's butt to be violated.
10 seconds.
At some point, somebody's going to be screaming rape, right? So at the end of the day, Orishas have the wisdom to know that it is not natural for that to happen. That's why there is no gay Orisha. I'm waiting for America to make their first gay superhero. I think they already have one coming out too. But it's being pushed to you in America for that reason of depopulation. Everybody listening to my voice, in conclusion, the moral to the story is this. It's not natural. Ifa does not support it. Even Christianity doesn't support it. Even Islam doesn't support it. There's places in Africa, if you are gay, they will burn you alive or stone you to death. That is not accepted in our tradition. We have walked away from our traditions according to Deuteronomy 29, verse 26, or 26, verse 29, whichever it was. Flip it around, you'll find it. Is not accepted nowhere on planet Earth except in dysfunction of America, and to some degrees dysfunction of England. It's not accepted. It's not natural. It's not supposed to be this way. I am not here bashing gay people. I am not homophobic. I ain't scared of no person on 2 feet. That's not what I'm afraid of. So stop with the labels. Stop acting if you're going to be a masculine person and speak out that you're scared of homosexuals because you're speaking. Stop with the reverse discriminations. Stop it. I have a right to speak my voice. I have a right to say what I need to say when I want to say it. And you do not have a right to tell me what I can and cannot say and label me. It's not right. It's not to be accepted. And if we want to grow our communities, we have to speak out against it, because no babies are going to be born, and we're going to continually fall down in numbers if we don't. We already have 70% of people, little children, growing up in single parent homes. We can't afford to add gay people to the spectrum. We can't afford it. Not in America. We can't afford it. I know Africa is black. America is not the same story for us. We're under the reign of our enslavers still, that controls the paradigm in which we live in. We can't fall prey to it and start accepting things that we know are not right. With that being said, if anybody has any questions, any comments, this is the perfect time to come on in and let it be known. But again, this is not a gay bashing situation. I'm not trying to moonwalk on nothing I said. I meant everything I said in this video. It is not natural. It is not right. It is not traditional Ifa. If you're from Cuba, South America, you practice leukemia, Saturnalia, all that stuff, and you are okay with it, again, that is not traditional Ifa either. I'm not bashing anyone. I'm not saying anyone is not practicing the right thing or doing the right thing, but traditional is traditional. Traditional Ifa says, you just heard it. I just read the stanza. It is not my perspective. The stanzas told you it is not right. So there's no way to make it right. You can't see that stanza or read that stanza or any other stanza and then turn around and tell me that homosexuality is okay. You're only going to say okay because you want that person to be in your ile. You want that person to get initiated so you can get that $5,000. You want that person to say it's okay so you can get the benefits from the people that are gay, because contrary to popular belief, gay people do have jobs, they do have money, and they are willing to pay. If I was a car salesman, I'd be in heaven selling gay people cars all day long. Okay? Because they got the money and the credit. But when it comes to spirituality, you got to draw a line at some point. And you got to keep it 100. If you're not going to keep it 100, then what are you doing it for? If you're not going to keep it 100 with the people, why are you doing it? All right. Candomblé is full of gay people. You're absolutely right. They accept them. But why do they accept them? Is Candomblé traditional Ifa? I don't know any traditional culture that accepts homosexuality. I don't know any, man. I'm talking about, when I say traditional culture, I'm talking about cultures that were not infected by colonialism. Any culture that was not affected by colonial white folks, let me be very clear when I say what I say, by white folks. I know Facebook might want to ban me too with Farrakhan, I don't care. But at the end of the day, any indigenous culture that was not infected by colonialism does not okay homosexuality. They're not, because they know nature doesn't work that way. But if you get infected by colonialism, by Jesus and Muhammad and all these great people, all these Greek descendants that just practice raping little boys' booties every other day, like, again, to this day, they still do it. If you're infected by colonialism, you're going to accept it. Just go to church today. And when you go to church today, just look around. How in the world is God okay this? How does God say in the Bible, be fruitful and multiply, but then say, oh, homosexuality is okay? Like, come on, man. Even it's in the dumb Bible, and I can't stand the Bible. Even though it's a deep book. But we can't ignore things for what we want things to be. That's called dysfunction. And at that point, we're using our own mind to justify something that's wrong because the world says it's okay. Who are you going to serve? The world, or are you going to serve your maker? You're going to serve God who makes the world possible. You can't serve two gods. People are not born gay, sis. I'm sorry, I would never believe that. For me to believe that people are born gay, again, all the Odus I just read would be false then. Why would God make these Odus and rules to live by and then make you accidentally gay? Why does God make everything so perfect, but makes a mistake to send a male to planet Earth and say, oh man, I forgot to take the penis off? Why would God do that? Send a woman to Earth and be like, oh man, I forgot to add the penis to her. All right, she got to be gay. Come on, man. Let's make sense out of this. Dysfunction. Okay, y'all keep throwing Odus up there. So if you're throwing an Odu that's supposed to counteract, I hope it's not counteracting what I'm saying. I don't want to judge and I don't want to jump to conclusions. But I'm hoping that you're giving Odus that support what I'm saying. Because if something that you're giving me is an Odu that's not in support of what I'm saying, that means that what I just read is contradictory. And I don't see Ifa as a contradictory spiritual practice at all, whatsoever. I do see it as a straightforward practice and information piece. So again, with that being said, before it starts getting into other areas, I want to thank everybody for coming on and listening. I know this was a hard one to listen to. I did my best to deliver it the best way I could. I had to bring the kids involved because I want kids to understand that this stuff is not normal, no matter what they hear in school, see in school, experience in school, or experience in society, experience on television. It's not normal and it's not cool. That don't make you homophobic because you speak against it. It doesn't make you homophobic because you're not with it. It just makes that you have an opinion about it. Now, we're not throwing the babies away with the bathwater, okay? If anyone is seeking to get healed and help, seek out your nearest Babalawo. Do not go to church. I must say that again. Do not go to church to be healed because that is the wrong place for you to go at this point in time. But if you're looking to get healed, you're looking to get, I'm not going to say saved. I almost talked this Christian talk just now. But you're looking to get healed and removed from that ideal, Ifa is that way to where you can come and get the work, you can come and get the healing, you can do the work, but it's going to take, like anything else, it's going to take some sacrifices to be made. It's going to take more than a goat being slaughtered. It's going to take more than a chicken being slaughtered. It's going to take more than a pig being slaughtered. It's going to take more than an ebo being offered. It's going to take you doing your work to do what needs to happen. It's going to take you need to do your work and what happens. And even within Ifa, people that are initiated, some of them are not willing to do the work they need to do to fulfill their destinies. They're willing to do the slaughter and the ebos, but not doing the work. I know it's tough. I know it's a tough thing to do because it's tough to keep it 100. It's easy to be fake. But if you really want the healing, Ifa will help. Seek out a Babalawo. Seek out a traditional Babalawo to give you the answers you're seeking, but you will find it. You will get the help. Remember, Ifa does not support homosexuality, but that does not make Ifa homophobic. Ifa welcomes all those who are seeking truth, all those who are seeking the right agenda that wants to make this world a better place and send it back to its natural place. Because this world is out of balance right now. It's so out of balance, and that's why the planet is fighting back against us. That's why this world is fighting back against us, because we are allowing our planet to get out of order, including by the abomination of homosexuality. In the Bible, they destroyed a whole city because of it, called Babylon. We are recreating Babylon before our eyes, and before we know it, it will be destroyed. If you believe in the Bible, which I don't necessarily, but if you believe in the Bible, and you know that the Babylon story supposedly allegedly existed, why would God destroy a city for homosexuality and other things, but homosexuality was one of the main ones? Why would God destroy that city if it was okay? And why is it becoming okay in this society? Number one, it's because this society is pretty much over. It's at its end. You know it's at the end when they put a black man in office to run it. I know that sounds bad, but when they put a black man in office to run it, they're pretty much over it at that point because they would never let him run it. And that black man is the one who began to initiate and okay gay marriages. Before Obama, there was no gay marriages okay in this country. So, the irony of it all, right? The very person whose father was from the continent okayed gay marriages in America as the leader of the free world. Maybe he missed these Odus. I don't know. But that is my show for today. I'm glad that you guys have listened and tuned in. Please take this with a grain of salt, but please take it with an open mind. I tried to deliver the message as PG as I could. Let the kids hear this. Share this video with as many people as you can. I give thanks for Ifa for delivering this message through me, to give me the courage to even bring this message in this time where I know ridicule can come. I got bombarded all week with messages and people talking crazy, even people unfriending me, but I don't care about Facebook. Who cares about Facebook? People in here are not my friends anyway. I like everybody who liked my pages, but I don't know y'all. Like, let's keep it 100. Like, people, I don't know these people, right? But at the same time, if you want to unfriend me, do what you must. I am not here for pats on the back. That's not my job. My job is here to deliver the message and speak the truth the way I know how to speak it. And the Odus that I read today, I did not make up. I didn't write them. I'm not the author of them. So, we're losing money in this country. They are accepting marijuana. China is on the rise. China definitely is on the rise here. If you didn't know, China bought California. I know that's going to blow some people's mind, but China bought California. That's why there's so many Asians here now buying up property right and left, because they purchased California, I think it was about maybe 3 to 4 years ago. You don't believe me? Google it. They bought California. How do you buy a state? How does another country that you annihilated in war buy a state in your country? Anyway, that's a whole nother topic. We're not going to go there. We're still on the gay situation right now. So, with that being said, I give thanks to everybody who watched. Tune into the next one. Stay alert. If you haven't already done so, go to the Good Morning E5 page and like it. Like it and love it. Share it. Share the messages from it. I give thanks and praise. Give thanks and praise to E5 for bringing the message through me, and give thanks for you guys tuning in. Shizzle, have a good Sunday. Stay away from church. Peace, y'all.